What is going on, everyone? Hope you all are having a blessed and safe Monday. The NFL draft came and went for the Houston Texans, and I wanted to talk about this new wide receiver group because the Houston Texans, in my opinion, solidified their wide receiver room for the future. With two of their first three picks in the 2025 NFL draft, the Houston Texans selected two wide receivers. One of them in the second round, pick 34, wide receiver Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. And in the third round, pick 79, the Houston Texans went Jaylen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State, double dipping at the position, double dipping from the same college. When you look at this Houston Texan wide receiver room from top to bottom, you have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in Nico Collins. You have veterans, Christian Kirk, Braxton Berrios, Justin Simmons. And then you add in the new young cats, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Smith. I am excited for the future of this wide receiver room, and we are going to break it down, ladies and gentlemen. I am also going to give you who I think the odd men out are. With that being said, my name is Ruben Calavillo. This is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, let's first start with our new additions, and that was Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. Higgins was one of the few receivers at the top of this draft class with ideal X receiver size at 6'4" and 215 pounds. And he added to that physical profile with strong testing across the board at the NFL Combine. He profiles as a reliable possession receiver who dropped just 3 of his 209 targets over the past 2 seasons at Iowa State. It's not their biggest need along the O line, but adding another weapon for CJ Stroud makes a lot of sense given Stephon Diggs' departure and Tank Dell coming off of a major injury. And yes, that is another reason why I like this double dipping at the wide receiver with two of your first three picks, is because it gives Tank Dell some time. I don't think we see Tank Dell in 2025. And to be honest with you, I don't think we see him in 2026 towards the middle end of the season. With that being said, Tank Dell, get well. We wish you the very best. You have some time to get healthy. Moving on to Jaden Higgins' draft profile, because I wanted to show that also. The first look, Higgins is a reliable possession receiver who can run a diverse route tree from any alignment thanks to impressive foot quickness. He won't be an athletic standout in the NFL, but he'll often be in the right place at the right time. Sounds exactly like Nico Collins. Higgins came from humble college football beginnings as a zero-star recruit. He spent his first 2 seasons at Eastern Kentucky before jumping to Iowa State in the transfer portal, hoping to continue the pop line of NFL receivers coming out of Ames, Iowa, including Hakeem Butler, Allen Lazard, Xavier Hutchinson. Higgins is well built for an X receiver with some added wiggle and agility for a big man. As a possession type, he has reliable hands and consistently catches the ball away from his body. He brings good footwork and a variety of releases to effectively get off press coverage. He also knows how to run almost all routes in the tree. While Higgins isn't a consistent winner with athleticism before and after the catch, he can still create separation due to his savviness and foot quickness. He is a willing blocker with good length. Let's go to his stats on the year: 87 catches, 1,185 yards, 9 touchdowns, 53 receptions for 983 yards, 6 touchdowns in 2023. And in 2022, 58 catches for 747 yards and 10 touchdowns. You see the progression throughout his collegiate career. And I am excited for Jaden Higgins. I am excited for him and Jaylen Noel because and I think I said this yesterday. You talk about Jaden Higgins being a Nico Collins clone, and I think the same is for Jaylen Noel. I think Jaden Higgins, guys, can be one of those immediate impactful rookies. I think the same thing can go for Jaylen Noel. I think CJ Stroud is very happy. Now he has weapons. Now he has weapons, pass catching weapons. Only thing you got to do now is make sure he doesn't get touched. But Jaden Higgins, I could see him being, honestly, I can see Jaden Higgins being the number 2 wide receiver for this Houston Texans team. I can really do see that if he plays a full 17 games, and I'm wishing he can. I'm hoping he can. Moving on to Jaylen Noel. Let me see. Share this tab instead. Noel brings strength, athleticism to the slot for the Texans. He earned a 81.7 PFF receiving grade with 2.62 yards per route run in 2024, showing good body control on off-target passes and looking explosive with the ball in his hands. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. Noel is a compact and powerful slot receiver who wins with good first step and can succeed in an NFL offense where the quarterback holds the ball a little longer in the pocket. He'll need to be more dynamic after the catch to earn a consistent starting role in the league. Noel was not only a good high school football player, but also an all-conference high jumper and sprinter. That track background is the baseline of how he wins as a receiver. His first step has a lot of power and explosion, which helps him win off press and out of his breaks. His explosiveness and separation ability make him an effective horizontal player for dig slash mesh routes and crossers. Though Noah's acceleration is very good, his long speed is average for the NFL level. He has strong but unspectacular hands with a limited catch radius due to shorter arms. He could use more of a playmaker's mentality for forcing missed tackles after catches. Noel sometimes struggles with getting off press if a defensive back gets hands on him early, but that rarely happens. Looking at his stats this year, 80 catches for 1,193 yards, 8 touchdowns the year before, 66 receptions for 820 yards, 7 touchdowns the year before that, 60 receptions for 572 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jaylen Noel, like I mentioned, I think is, your clone of Tank Dell. And even though I said Jaden Higgins might be, your number 2 wide receiver, I would say Jaylen Noel could potentially be, your most wide receiver in terms of playmaking, in terms of big plays. I see Jaylen Noel in that role. With that being said, it would not surprise me, ladies and gentlemen, if your top 3 receivers are Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Jaylen Noel. With Christian Kirk, I am worried about some, injury concerns if he is fully healthy. Then for sure Christian Kirk is your wide receiver number 2. But more importantly, Christian Kirk is the veteran of the room. He's not going out. He's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. And when healthy, Christian Kirk has been a very effective wide receiver in this league. Nico Collins, what more can I say about Nico? We're talking about one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And before he went out with his hamstring injury, Nico Collins was leading the league in yards per game. I think Nico Collins is just getting started, coming off of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Now he has some help. You're not going to be able to afford to double Nico Collins now with Jaden Higgins, Jaylen Noel, and then you add in Christian Kirk. Like the Houston Texans wide receiver room, ladies and gentlemen, has so much weapons now. It hasn't been this way in a very long time. But Nico Collins should be very happy. You have 2 6'4" receivers on the outside. That is scary. Then you got 2 dynamic slot guys in Christian Kirk and Jaylen Noel. So the question is, who's the odd man out? Is it Braxton Berrios? I don't think so. Brought him in for agency, was a all-pro special teamer. I think Braxton Berrios is going to bring a lot of good things, not only to the offensive side, but the special team side as well. Is it Justin Simmons from Kansas City? You want that playoff experience. As you yourself get to places where you've never gone before, Justin Simmons has been there, done that. I don't think he's going anywhere. Like we've mentioned with Tank Dell, he's here for the next 1.5 years, 2 years. Is John Mechie gone? Is Xavier Hutchinson gone? I do think John Mechie is the odd man out, ladies and gentlemen, given the fact that Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa State, the Houston Cyclones, is what Brees Hall called the Texans. But as far as the wide receiver room, Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Jaden Higgins, Jaylen Noel, Braxton Berrios, Justin Simmons, John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell. I named 9 receivers right there. I'm comfortable with 5 of them. And I just pray that we get a full season out of this unit. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about this wide receiver group for the Houston Texans with the additions of rookie Jaden Higgins and Jaylen Noel. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day.